Let's bring international relations analyst Dr. Alex Rusero to weigh in on the UAE President Sheikh Mohamed bin Zayed Al Nahyan's visit to South Africa. He landed at the Bulembu airport last week for Ramadan celebrations. Very good afternoon to you, Prof. Thank you for your time here on the SABC.
Sure, thank you for having me.
Let's just get we're getting some reactions, in fact, in the back of that cabinet briefing held in the past hour. What do you make of the controversy around the visit by the UAE President in South Africa on the back of that briefing?
Yeah, I think it speaks large to the cordiality between the two states, United Arab Emirates as well as the Republic of South Africa. These relations, they actually backdate to the 1980s, even prior to the transition from apartheid to the current democratic government of South Africa. But more importantly, you have to understand that United Arab Emirates and South Africa, they share a lot in common economically, in as much as being strategically positioned economic powerhouses within their respective geographies that they are situated in.
Dr. Alex, thank you for that context. Perhaps in view of what transpired in South Africa in the past, I just wanted to know whether, you know, the outrage and the emotion expressed to the visit was warranted or justified, given what has transpired in South Africa with the Gupta family having landed a plane at Waterkloof. You know, I wonder how you'd also weigh in on that at this hour.
Yeah, I think relations, as you know, in diplomacy and international relations, they cannot necessarily be soiled, relations of states, because there are certain particular nationals who would have committed certain crimes or allegation of certain illicit activities in countries with a particular reference to states that would be having cordial, flourishing relations. So it's one thing to have the Guptas having been implicated. It's another to then soil the investment of the relationship that has been cultivated between South Africa and the United Arab Emirates. Because as you recall, United Arab Emirates is a strategic state in as much as South Africa's entrance to the Middle East region, to the entire Gulf region is concerned. And reciprocally, you would also realize that South Africa is the most strategic state in Africa, in as much as United Arab Emirates is entrance in Southern Africa in general and the entire African continent in particular is concerned. So those relationships, they are pitched at a higher level to be soiled by the issues or the shenanigans of the Guptas that unfolded in the previous years, in the previous South African government administration. But more importantly, you also have to understand that these two particular states, they have a joint commission bilateral arrangement together. And when you have states in international relations coordinating and cooperating at the level of joint commission, you would realize that this is the apex of our diplomatic relations that will result in a win-win scenario economically, politically, and socially.
Dr. Alex, then just very quickly speak about the strategic relationship that stems back to the 80s. Perhaps in view of what's transpired in the country, on the back of this briefing, do you think it's going to have any implications on the relationship between the UAE and South Africa?
Sorry, I didn't quite get you.
No problem. I was just actually asking in conclusion, in view of the briefing and the outcry in the country, do you think what transpired is going to have any implications between the two countries?
No, there are no implications. Briefings will always be held. Certain clarifications will always be sought or be offered. But what is more important is to understand the bigger victories, the bigger dividends that will emanate or continue to emanate from South Africa-UAE relations, as opposed to the divide or the little issues they might have a bearing. But when it comes to the existentiality and survivalist modes of states, I think it is better for South Africa and UAE to continue with this kind of a relationship and try to straighten certain elements that might not be found wanting from the both parties.
Dr. Alex Rusero, thank you for your time here on the SABC. International Relations Analyst Dr. Alex Rusero weighing in on the UAE President Sheikh Mohamed bin Zayed Al Nahyan's visit to South Africa. It follows a cabinet briefing that took place just a little while ago to clarify on whether the proper procedures in fact were followed, and indeed they have confirmed.